on.
We're live.
We're going to start the meeting. Start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you mind standing.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start off with, is there any approval or corrections for July 9th, 2024 minutes?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for July 9th, 2024.
I will second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Next is old business, Department of Ordinance 2024-06. Discussion on that?
What's the ordinance?
Well, that's the Plan Commission ordinance of the changes to the municipal code that they passed on first reading last.
Just add dates.
You want
Can I give a quick briefing?
to
Sure. Over the last 2 years, the Plan Commission has been working on our town ordinance, things like setbacks, lot coverage, what is approved on property, whether it's 2 miles out or in town. They've been working on updating it. It's required for them to update in detail at least every 3 years, and it's been since 2015. So that's kind of what they've worked on, and then they approved it, and now we have 3 readings to go for the town to approve it, make it ordinance.
Any other questions or comments on that? Is there a motion on the table?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance 2024-06.
On second reading.
Yes. I second that.
On motion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries on second reading. Go to the third reading next month. New business, start off with the IFA grant.
Well, I guess I will talk on that, even though I'm not really quite sure. I was not at that meeting with you guys, but the town has the opportunity to do an apprenticeship program through the Indiana Department of Rural Water, where you can take on an apprentice and help them to get their water certifications. And it is paid for through a grant through the Indiana Finance Authority. So I know Steve Walsh had spoken to you guys. Basically would need approval of that if you are willing to move forward.
My question to you, Kim, we looked at the finances on the budget. I know that after 6 months, it has to be an increase on off probation or an increase. Is there any problem with the budget of funding that?
No, I don't think there is any at all. I mean, like I said, for almost 2 years, they almost fund that totally. And then at the end of that 2-year period, of course, the town at that point would have to decide whether or not they were going to take that person on full time, or they will have their training through a certified operator here that they could, in that case, go to someone else.
Council comments.
I see some positives in it. It gives us the opportunity to grow with our water and our sewer testing and certifications. It also gives an opportunity to help pay some of those wages that the taxpayers won't be paying due to the grant. The one thing that I do want to make sure we keep in mind, if that employee is hired and then leaves, we lose that grant money at that point. And right. I'll make sure everybody understands that.
No, I'm in favor of it, the fact that it'll help Steve and Caroline out a little bit with some extra
set of hands.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we go for that IFA grant.
So we're going for the grant before we open up for interviews or anything like that? I thought we had to have the,
I think that we have to have that approval to get on the list
okay,
because there is a waiting list on
Yeah.
that. And so, I
Once we
think
get
that
approved,
is,
then you
yeah,
go
Yeah.
That's what I was
I'll
thinking.
second that motion to get on that list for the grant.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries to proceed with the IFA grant. Next on the new business list, and we spoke about this, I think a little bit, last meeting was the EMS generator quotes. There were 2 quotes that came in. One was through Banner Electric for $10,934.50. And the second one was from Live Oak Electric out of Culver, the total price of $11,274.11. However, they had included sales tax, which we don't pay. So minus that was $10,724.90. For the EMS building to put a generator in that building. I think there are 2 different types of generators. I think everybody provided that, so I guess, discussion.
Well, it appears to me that the Live Oak is putting a larger generator in as opposed to the one that Banner Electric is providing.
I would agree with that. Now, the other side of that is the larger generator, it's gonna use more gas than it's used. And we're really gonna need 24 kW of power
Just gonna bring
in the
that up.
EMS building.
It's not that big of a building.
And I'm assuming that we're paying the utility bills on that building.
yes, we do.
The other side of that is, I know Banner's $200 more, but they also service all of our generators in town already. So there's 2 sides to look at that.
So is there a motion to proceed with this then, on the table?
I'd make a motion to proceed with the Banner Electric myself.
I'd second that. That would be my choice.
So we have a first, we have a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. They,
That'll come out of EMS building.
Did you talk to them, gentlemen?
I did not talk to Banner. Steve actually was involved in the lift station issue.
Yeah, they were here doing that. And
Okay.
Yeah, they just replaced the generator at the North Lift Station
I talked
by
to
Bill's
Live Oak.
house.
Okay. Did, you're the liaison, did you wanna let Steve know?
I will.
Okay.
Well, okay, that's fine.
To proceed. Is there,
Well, Steve, really, I mean, Steve just happened to get the quotes. I didn't know. If we
I
had to
can
put
get a
that
hold
on.
of them.
Okay, you gonna handle it?
Yeah.
moving on to, we've had discussions, I think lots of cities and towns are discussing this, with the new generation of electric bicycles and one wheels, traveling on the roads. I think that you looked into that, do you wanna maybe give an update on that?
Yeah, sure. So you had asked me to look into that before. So it does look like under
Morning,
Indiana-
Robin.
Under Indiana law, it kind of defines, what an electric bicycle, an electric mobility device, an electric foot scooter are under Indiana law. That essentially, as long as something is not going 20 miles per hour, it can fall into one of those categories. It gets a little murkier though. Something can go over 20 miles per hour. Presumably, it would basically become motor vehicle under Indiana law at that point, which it would require the insurance and then a license to operate. It's not very clear though. I did reach out to the prosecutor's office and asked them, have they ever had a ticket come into their office written under this code section? They said that they had not. So I think the question for the council is, do you want to regulate these things? if they're going over 20 miles per hour, I don't think you can if they're going underneath, because Indiana law has these code sections for that. If they look like they fall into one of these categories, but can't exceed 20 miles per hour, which I know has been the concern of some of you, I guess that's where the town has to make a decision if you want to codify some type of ordinance that has a penalty associated with it. So that'd be up to you guys.
Well, I think we've seen these around town, have we not, Phil? So I know they go faster than 20. So I guess it's, the police department runs into this, how do you write this, what do you write it under?
Would it be it's the same thing as a traffic violation though, when they're not stopping?
I mean, if we would clock one going 30, which we have handhelds, but they work on metal. You could write it for not being registered, because by that, they need to be registered and so forth.
But at that point, wouldn't it be a state ticket because they do not allow ordinance violations on any moving vehicles in a town ordinance bureau? So at that point, would have to be a state ticket.
Unless you wrote a non-moving ticket, like something on there. But, yeah. So,
I mean, that would be hard to do if you're questioning that they're going over 20 miles an hour. They're non-move.
It's going to be tough to get us radar on those.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know they're around. Want to wait and see if they come forth, I guess, and see what language they use.
I mean, it's kind of up to you guys on that. I mean, you just gotta figure out what you want to do, whether we're the first or we let someone else take the lead, and that's up to you guys. Your thoughts, Joe?
My thoughts are, for one, they don't have VIN numbers on them, so you can't insure them anyway. I actually called the insurance company today. It's gonna have to go on homeowners if we go that aspect of it. So that's a problem right there. For two, are we gonna make every kid in town that has a scooter or a bicycle or a powered bike get registered? I think we're overreaching on this one right now. Really, in reality, I hate to say it, but if there's an accident, that's gonna be a civil matter. That's not something for the town to get involved in.
Yeah, but they run up and down the streets, and I mean, it used.
But it's not any different than any other traffic violation at that point. They run stop sign, yeah, we should take them. I mean, by right, we see people do it all, even if it's golf carts right now, we see it. And
Some of the golf carts go upwards of 20 or more.
some of them, yeah, well, way more. So I think it's gonna be really hard to push and hard to hold, especially with no VIN numbers on.
So I would agree with you, John.
All right, well, we'll move on down the road. Parking pavilion roof discussion.
So during our music fest that we had last time, I was in the pavilion. I'm sure others have noticed it. We had a pretty large sized hole in one of the skylights in there, and then I started looking at the rest of them. The rest of the skylights are all cracked. Talking to Roger today, and I just wanted to confirm, because I think we've talked about it before, the template for that roofing is obsolete. You can't get anything to match. In my opinion, at this point, if we're gonna do anything, to take the skylights out. We've got enough lighting in that building to provide the lighting with the doors shut. So I guess at this point, would you guys be opposed if I start getting at least quotes and looking at that option to replace that roof, that whole roof?
Didn't you replace those at one time?
No, I just patched one when somebody fell through the wall.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the patched building.
Patched it, right?
Yeah, it's patched, but it's just a temporary fix.
I think we need to look at, I mean, it's being used, we use it in the summertime. I think we
So
got.
go ahead and move forward and get quotes.
Moving on from department heads, Kim Berger, clerk treasurer.
Approval of claims 6656 to 6749, $580,925.79.
Any questions on that?
No.
I'll make a motion to approve, claim 6656 to 6749 for $580,925.79.
I'll second. Does it all have to be finished?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I need approval of pay app number 15 to Crosby Construction, $50,279.31.
Got a motion?
I'll make a motion to pass pay app 15 at $50,279.31.
I will second that.
I don't know if any of you guys have been down by there. The fencing is all up now. NIPSCO finally showed up today, and so they'll be doing the groundwork to here pretty soon. They're finishing up well number 2, and the plant is back online at the moment, bearing any more issues there, but everything's slowly winding down there.
Are we still gonna, is the plan to put internet in that building?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We have to because of the SCADA system so that they could get all the alerts on their phones and
I knew we
Yeah,
did that,
technology.
that cellular based thing that we were having.
yeah. So I also need approval of a change order number 3, which is $10,637. The changes on our contract was we had to add some additional pipe stands to that because of the weight of them. There was a few fencing modifications. The Knox box that was installed on the building for in case of the fire department to have to get there, and some electric issues with NIPSCO on the pole change. So that's what encompasses that $10,637.
That'll get everything up to snuff.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 3 for $10,637.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, for the change order.
I want to acknowledge Steve Walsh. He just recently passed his DSM water operator and WT3 waterworks operator licensing. He is now dual certified for wastewater and water with the town of Bourbon. And so with that aspect, there is a pay increase already in place in the salary ordinance. That would be, he got his letter from the state on last Friday, so that will go into effect this new pay period.
So I'd like to say congratulations to Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hard
Those
work.
tests,
Awesome.
those tests are difficult. There's been a lot of people I know that went through that process. So.
Just a reminder, at the next meeting on the 10th will be our public hearing on the 2025 budget. And then 2 weeks later, on the 24th, will be the budget adoption, which will also be at 6 o'clock that night.
Next.
So there will be an additional meeting in September for the passage of the budget. The only other thing I have is Chad, and I found Chad is the farmer that farms our acreage out at the wastewater ponds. Chad has been our farmer out there for over 10 years. And at the end of December, our contract with Chad comes up. So I think Chad just wanted to address some things with you guys on that.
Yeah, I would like to continue farming the farm. I guess, we've kind of been on a thing with prices. I really think we're really far down. I would like to just re-up it where we're at today. But I guess that's open for discussion, but I feel like where things are, that it's a pretty fair value what I'm paying already.
And we receive $20,000 a year for the income off of the farming there. I spoke with Steve today about that. He has always been very pleased with the work that Chad does, and keeping everything up in good standings and all of that. So
Make a motion.
I'm just gonna ask a question out of being new, so don't be offended. Didn't we have to send this out several years ago?
We did several years ago to the fact that the farmer that had been farming our facility no longer was interested in doing it. So at one point we did put that out for bids, and at that point, I think you've had that ever since that time, which it was back in 2013, because I looked at the paperwork today.
So we don't have to rebid it out.
We don't have to,
No.
no. I just would need approval of that moving forward January 1.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Motion on the table.
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Sure. We'll probably have to have this contract redo.
We've got it. I'll
Yeah.
get you that.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Moving on to Chief Martin, the activity report.
I turned in my activity.
Thayer Street signage.
Mr. Riffle approached me today with a problem on Thayer Street, south of Florence. It's like a traffic problem for dropping off kids in the morning. People are parking there, and it's like a log jam there. And he suggested putting up a sign that says, while school is in session, no parking weekdays from 7:30 a.m. to 8:15 a.m. drop off only. I told him that in that situation, if somebody says, I'm not gonna do it, we don't have anything, they have to approach you for some type of ordinance for that.
This is on that. Before the curve.
Yeah, it's south of Florence.
It's before the curve.
So that's actually where it kicks back out.
That's
in the
right,
grass.
it goes from Pine to Florence and then from Thayer to Harris Street.
Is it houses, people parking in there? Is that what they're doing?
And they're parking on the street.
Parking along the houses, which sticks out
Yeah.
further than what their pole end does. So it's kind of as backward.
It does get very
It's
crowded.
it's an absolute nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
They park
It
like
is.
bumper to bumper in there.
And they're afraid that when the kids run in between the cars, somebody's gonna get hit.
Mhm.
Agreed with that.
What's your recommendation?
If they post a sign, I recommend some type of ordinance for no parking, drop off only, and then I'd probably have to sit up there for a while.
So what's the time? 7 what? 7.
7:30 to 8:15.
If that's no parking, what other problems is gonna jam up?
He said from 7:30 to 8:15.
What will happen in the afternoon? Similar problem.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't include both.
He said in
times of
the
it.
afternoon, people, like on Fridays, people will park up there at like 12:30 and
They wait.
wait for hours. So he just was wanting to address the morning one, unless
You're supposed to just drop and go, but
They camp out.
they get out, walk their kids up. It is a nightmare.
I don't understand why we wouldn't do it in the afternoon if we were doing it in the morning.
Yeah. Well, but like Bill says, a lot of parents go up really early at that
So
point,
they
but
can
they
get a
sit there
parking
and
spot.
park to get a parking spot.
If-
Yeah.
if you did it in the afternoon, I think what that would do is encourage the parking down at the Mattress Center along Harris Street. Because if we get
And
up there,
also in the old gym area, a lot of parents park over there too in the
Yes.
afternoon. So
Mhm.
that does eliminate some of it.
Isn't there already signs up there?
Yeah, there's already signs there. their time, have time.
What's the
also.
sign say?
I think I remember.
Is there ordinance already in place? Have you looked?
I
I
can't,
don't
I
think
never
there
found
is.
one.
What's the sign say now, Bill, do you know?
It's,
No parking.
no parking during certain times.
But it's on the opposite side of the road.
It's opposite side of the
Yeah,
road,
you
yes.
can only park
On the school side.
along the sidewalk side.
I think
Your
it
no
is.
parking's allowed on the other side.
It has dual times, it's like 7:30 to 8:30 and like 2:30 to 3:30.
If we're gonna do this, I suggest doing it, cause it's gonna eventually. I mean, if this truly is an issue in the morning, it's gonna be an issue in the afternoon, especially on nice days. I mean, I'm guilty of it when I worked third shift. I got up at a certain time, I went down there. It was.
But if we had that stretch on the east side of the road where it's just drop off and pick up only, that would help a lot. It wouldn't get the traffic jam right there.
Other
So
schools do that.
what is that definition though? I guess my question is, if I'm sitting there waiting for my kid, I am dropping them off, I'm just waiting for everybody to get out of the way.
I think that's why he left out in the afternoon, because in the morning you should just drop them off and they go down to the class, but people are waiting there and causing traffic problems.
So some of them are walking their kids in.
Yes.
Really, you need to experience it. I know
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're
I
at work
did.
that time of it, but I mean,
It's hard.
luckily I only drop my
would-
grandkids off a
I'd
couple
have to
days a
agree, I
week,
mean,
but
you really need to go down and look at it.
it's,
see.
it's,
Bad.
it's
You know.
crazy.
And for the concern of a child getting hit, that could happen very easily.
Yes, I agree that there's probably an issue down there, there's been an issue down there for years.
For years.
I think honestly though, we need to look at it and table it. Yeah. Cause this situation, we could pass it on first reading.
All three
Yeah.
readings on one
Yeah.
at once.
And I did tell Mr. Riffle that on their property, if they can put any sign they want up there, but we just can't enforce it.
Right.
Don't you think it's the right thing to do, Bill?
I think we need.
You don't want to be, you don't want to be covering
I
a
just,
child getting hit.
no, not that, and then also if there, if we need to have the afternoons in there also, we just need to do it now, not redo it later.
You do one, you do both.
Moving on to Roger Perry.
Yeah, the activity reports. And also one other thing, our community crossing grant has started. Payment Solutions has been in town for the last couple of days. We're doing the crack filling first. And in about 2 weeks, we'll finish up with the rest of them.
Thanks for the pothole.
No problem.
I went by that, I'm like,
Actually, that was a water cutout.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, I realized that.
that's all I have.
I have a question though. Over here on Thompson Street where they took that tree down and all that brush is piled up,
Right?
who has to get rid of that?
As far as I know, they paid somebody to do that.
Because I know
They have to get rid of it.
it's a
Yes,
challenge right now pulling out.
I agree. They have to get rid of that.
Okay. I just was curious. I didn't think it was our responsibility. I thought it was theirs. Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
Susie? Hey.
The planning commission met yesterday for a public hearing. Sonia Berkey, who's the executor for Gerald Anderson, who passed away, she was asking to kind of divide out some of their properties so that they can get it ready for sale. Planning commission did approve it. So next month we'll get the resolution signed and then I'll get you the ordinance for that. Because they are going to, I think in September, they have an appointment for a survey. Or maybe it's August.
Just, they're in line with the
Yeah,
survey.
it seems like everybody's getting surveys anymore and they're taking forever. So, so that was the plan commission, and then the BZA met for the second time for the Pentecostal Church for Kids Kingdom Daycare. In regards to their lot coverage, they are eager to get their building started, and it's been an adventure and a very big learning experience for me. So, they met and the BZA spoke with, them, and it was approved for the 39% lot coverage
Up on Schaefer.
on Schaefer, yes. So, Marshall County, they're just waiting for them to get their permit approved, and that's what happened. And on conversation with Jonah, I will be resending another second letter for Maria Silva in regards to the house on North Street, about in regards to the fence. That's all I have.
Thank you. Moving on, Chad steps now.
I'm Chad.
Yep.
They had 4 calls last month, 2 medic assist, 1 signal 9, and an illegal fire in town in which they distinguished.
One thing on the fire department, I did go to the fire meeting with the chiefs regarding the OSHA regulations and all that, and it's going to be very difficult for this community to follow through with that, as well as even Plymouth is going to have issues with following through with the requirements that they're going to impose upon people. So just a heads up.
Speaking of that, they organized a committee for the public safety tax, and Kim was placed on that for the town of Bourbon.
That's lovely.
Yeah, and we meet next Wednesday.
Good luck with that.
Thank you. I think I'm gonna need that one.
Thank you for doing that.
Not a problem.
Alex Hoover, McVicker property, I see that they have made some progress.
Yes, I reached out to you guys about the letter that she had sent to me. I understand she had dropped off the same message to Kim as well. So I guess just to backtrack, the petition for abatement I did file on behalf of the town back on July 24th. She was served with paperwork on August 1st, so she technically has 30 days to file some type of response at the circuit court to that. Now, we don't necessarily have to move forward, and you guys can let me know. I'll assume we want to move forward unless you tell me otherwise. If for some reason she did not file some type of answer by September 1st, we could file a default. But it does look like she is taking some steps to remedy the issue on her own. She did give me the proof that she had gone to glass doctor out of Warsaw. Looked like the total quote she had was for $6,233.45, and she put the deposit down, which is half the total. So it looks like she is moving forward with it. So if you guys decide that you want to give her a little bit of time, I don't need to dismiss the action or anything. We can just let it sit there. I don't have to do anything with this. That's up to you guys.
I guess with my opinion, I like for maybe just to stay there, because it seems like she doesn't move until, So,
I think at least she's making that, but that's a start.
yeah. So it's progress.
Yeah.
Anything else, Alex?
That's it for me.
Moving on to patron comments. 5-minute time limit. Anybody?
We'd like for them to come up.
Yeah. For the
So you can hear.
microphone.
Do I have to?
Yep.
Yeah, so they can hear.
Unless you yell really loud.
I probably walk.
Thank you for the car.
Slide your chair up here.
Slide your chair.
Getting old.
Right.
Do you have to say that?
Yeah. Yeah, just here representing the Summerfest, I just want to, number one, take the opportunity for the fire department, police department, Roger, Terry, everything the town does for us, prep the town for the parade. On the outside this year, everything looked like it went flawless. I guess that's our job as the Summerfest group to do that. The success was over the top with everything, from the parade to the garage sales to the Little Miss Cutie. The people that was inside the school on Friday night was kind of just blew everybody away. All the entertainment that we had on Saturday, the support from the school community,
the car show Sunday, as we all know, we set records, and a lot of people asked me if that surprised me. I said, no. You know, we all know when we restructured this Summerfest, you know, approximately 2017, 18, we all said it was going to be a 5 or 6 year rebuild. And every year, gladly since then, we've been able to succeed with that. And took the Summerfest in the direction that we thought it needed to be as far as benefit for the town. And then this year I told all the car show guys that help and all the volunteers, almost done it forever, hang on, because I said we're gonna hit 230 to 250 this year with all the promoting I've done and the flyers I've passed out and the sense of what we feel we was gonna get in. You know, I predicted top 250 coming in the gate. We had 262. So I guessed it within 12 with all of our vehicles and stuff on display. We had like 285. And it was just a tremendous success. And to be open and clear and honest, I mean, if anybody's got any questions, the community support and all the donations we took in, you know, I know back in the dark years of the Summerfest, it was roughly, you know, you might get $500 to $800, and you can't do anything with that. You just can't. With the town support, with all of the contributions we got and our Plymouth partners that are involved, we raised almost $6,000
That's awesome.
to help bring people into this town. I tell everybody now, you know, just like our BMX stunt team, that's $2,300. You know, the bounce houses is $1,500, and we spent the money as wisely as we can. And we had you know, Anthony Keys, the American Idol contestant, come down and open the deal. That was high energy. It was great for the high school kids. We had a lot of fun. It was a good success. If anybody's got any questions, you know, they got my phone number. They can find me. We look forward to next year. It's going to be kind of hard to top this year, but I think I think we can, and we're already working on some other stuff for next year. Behind the scenes, what people don't see, and sometimes people make comments that, in a way, kind of rub you wrong or hurt your feelings. All they got to do, come down, is put our shoes on for a while. Friday night, we're setting up the food vendors. They're all in place. We have an hour and a half electrical problem with the school getting hooked up to power. Nobody saw that. Between about 6 volunteers, we got it handled. We went to plug in our rented ice cream machine that the cheerleaders use. The guy that rented us the ice cream machine rented us a cord that would not plug into his ice cream machine. We got a guy volunteered to walk out of the school. Oh, what's going on? Well, I'll go home and get some parts. He fixed it for us. We thought, boy, this is a great way to start out the weekend. Saturday morning, we get there. I rented 2 diesel generators, one to power up the bounce houses for the kids, and one to power the craft vendors that needed power. I wanted to be safe to make sure we didn't overload anybody's power. We got both generators in there. Neither generator would work. We called a repair guy. I'm sitting there thinking, man, you know, this is just going downhill in a real handbasket. We got the bounce houses up 5 minutes before they were supposed to be running. Took us 3 hours Saturday morning to get the electric fixed. We got the vendors running 5 minutes before they were supposed to go on. Made it through Saturday. Everything went flawless, looked great from the outside. Sunday morning, of course, I'm running on no sleep. Go out of the house 5 o'clock to go set the car show up. First thing I do is forget to shut my trailer door, take all the equipment up to get the car show set up. I ripped the trailer door off of my trailer 5 o'clock in the morning because I hit the tree. So it's kind of cool when on the outside it looked good, and that was our job. So thanks to everybody's support. We'll do it again next year, and I think it was good for the town.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Just to add on to the Summerfest, the Bourbon American Legion Auxiliary did the breakfast and probably had the biggest year we've ever had. I think we served close to 200 people.
And I'll tell you what, and I've mentioned that before, that it's a pleasure. They donate to our group, and we have combined that to their biggest. We have so many comments of the car. My guy, Howie Borden, that takes the money. Yeah, believe it or not, this is just real quick, and I know we're about running out of 5 minutes, but our registration started at 8 o'clock in the morning is what we print. At 6:30 yesterday, there's 10 of us up there trying to set up, or I mean on Sunday. At 6:30 in the morning, we had 25 cars in there. I said, would you folks please sleep? So you can't put posters on tables with dew and I said, we're not set up yet. Somehow we made it through from 6:30 when we started taking money until 10:45. We had cars around the corner at Peckham's. Everybody was very patient. Howie's out there taking the money. I'm getting them registered. And Howie was telling every single person when he come in from 7:30 to 10:30, there's a breakfast going on over here. And everybody raved very high of and it was such the whole package of being able to come over, have breakfast, hang out, and everybody was commenting on, I've never been to Bourbon before. Well, this is the way we do it. Yeah, welcome to Bourbon.
And the weatherman helped you tremendously this weekend, didn't he?
The what?
The weatherman.
I tell you what,
God had
yes,
perfect
and
weather
I
for
tell
you.
a lot of people ask that, and I said, we have been blessed every year, 37 years now. The car show's never been rained out. We have been rained on, but we've already got the awards presentation. And I attribute a lot of this success this year to the good weather and the high count. I say it's Dick Holderman coming back. All the years that Dick helped us with the car show and Dick passed away. We missed him tremendously. That was Dick.
Well, thanks again for what you did. Thank you. We
That
appreciate
was
it.
very nice,
Thank you and your team.
all of it.
Is there any other patron comments? Yeah, if you would come up and state your name and.
I'm Charlie Spohr and I moved here in November. Just want to say it's a lovely town and the Bourbon Fest is my first year. It's awesome. Everyone is polite. I have noticed that there is an overpopulation of stray cats. It's excessive. I know, but the problem is they keep reproducing. So I've taken in several and found homes. I know lots of people have. But on half a block where I live, I've seen 17 kittens. And then around the corner, there's another pile of kittens. So at daycare, there's kittens everywhere. The problem with this many cats is they come with diseases like rabies, fleas, leukemia. And it'd probably be a good idea to get it under control. From the research that I've seen, relocating doesn't work because outside cats come in and take over the resources, and euthanizing, same thing, they come in. So spaying, neuter, and release is a good option. I don't know if we have the funding for that, but I could try to come up with something.
The other problem is like the Humane Society that does a lot of for the county, you know, in towns, they're full. They're not even taking anything right now. They're so full. So.
Well, Joan and I have spoke about that after I talked to you, Charlie.
So I actually had another patron contact me about the same thing. He'd read something, and we kind of had a discussion back and forth. And I don't know how these two feel, but yeah, I agree. We've got a lot of cats. Yes, we need to have them spayed or neutered, but how do we go about that? And what's the cost of that going to be?
Right.
So as we were having that conversation, he said, and I'm just going to use their name. He said, you tell them that Dan and Donna Klingerman will donate $100. My wife and I will match that $100. So talking to Kim earlier, and I know $200 isn't a lot of money. It's not. But I talked to Kim earlier, she can set up a fund, put that money into. This is my idea. You guys can critique it however you want. So obviously you're passionate about it, and I kind of want you to help lead this if you're available.
Spraying on my shed and my front door.
So you're really ready to lead.
Yeah.
But maybe the town can help get neuter scooter in, get some dates. We can assist with that. The funds aren't taxpayer funds; it would be donated funds. The concern I have is how do you regulate that? So that's what we got to work on with this, whatever we do get for funds, because what's to keep somebody that lives in town that's got a town address to go into their in-laws house and taking 5 cats from there and coming in and say, these are my cats, get them spayed and neutered under the donated money from the town, but
Or
we're
you
not
catch a cat that, you know, somebody said I didn't want my cat moved.
and then take them back to where they came from. So, actually, that if they're on your property, you have full access to them. I've looked into this.
Well, if you lose a dog, and I catch my dog, I mean,
I have full control over your dog until it's claimed. if it's
Don't
on my
they clip
property.
their ear too?
Yeah,
somehow?
they
mark
either
their
dock their ears or
down?
they'll tattoo them. So I
So
know
there you go.
somebody, parent,
Veterinary.
yeah.
Plymouth
that was-
Veterinary.
Plymouth
Yeah,
Veterinary Clinic.
yeah, the Plymouth Veterinary Clinic was, issued today. At this point, this is starting from ground zero, unfortunately. I think we need to have some rules and regulations. So a couple suggestions that I have at this point right now is you have to live in town. You have to prepay for it. And you have to have them chipped. Because we have an ordinance that animals are not to leave people's property. But how do you regulate that Bill Martin's cat's at my house and Bill Martin says, well, I ain't my cat? You know, how do we regulate that without having them chipped?
Don't you have a net, Bill, that you can catch all these?
So please think about it. Kim can give you my email, give us all our emails. I would like to work with the community with this and try to come up with a solution. Like I said, $200 isn't a whole lot of money right now, but it's a start. Maybe everybody else that has issues will pitch in.
Okay, I had heard that the neuter suit came to town before. Is that true? How was that funded?
I don't know. The town did not have anything to do with that at that
Oh,
point.
So
Yeah.
someone
did
set
not.
it up.
So I would suggest, we'll look at the neuters, seeing what it would take to get them in. I'm sure that's funded by how many people are willing to do it. The concern I have on that is it's gonna be a certain date. So are we gonna catch 17 cats in one day to send them out?
Right.
Probably gonna be a struggle. But, I think working together and Leader Scooter, the Plymouth Vet, maybe even our Bourbon Vet, if somebody wants to reach out to them and have that discussion, there's opportunity there to maybe not take care of the whole thing, but maybe start moving forward in the right direction. And that might not be the answer we want right now, but
really
really
have an average cost to have one new.
Well, it was $65, wasn't the Plymouth Vet
the
one?
Plymouth one was, I think, Leader Scooter's 40.
The
40.
65 for the spay, 45 for a male neuter
Is that
is what
Yeah.
they were.
So they're all different prices, and I get it. It's not a lot of money, but on the flip side of it, it's
And this will address the issue with people having lots of kittens everywhere on the porch. Can we do anything?
if it's on their porch, it's theirs.
Yeah.
We've had a problem with this for
And,
years.
because, you go home from work, you have work discussions at home. But, we do have a kennel ordinance and it says how many pets you can have. So we might need to look at that also. Because I know, especially close to where you live, a house on Schaefer Road, I seen 8 little kittens on the porch down there the other day too. But and this is going to age me, but at one point, the township used to charge a fee. It was like $3 or something if you had a dog or a cat. You got the tag that said that you paid the tax for that. I see that could be something we could look at. And I know a lot of towns do this, but we could look at that and that could help fund that. Now, of course, it's going to be the honor system. If you're going to say, yeah, I do have a dog or I do have a cat, to come in and do it, because that would be hard to police that. But it would also be possibly not taxpayer money that would be help funding it.
And that's my concern right now is the taxpayer money spending that.
Mm-hmm.
Where does it stop?
One thing interesting in that ad for the Plymouth Vet, one female cat, unneutered, in 4 years produces 2,000 kittens.
Yeah, it was crazy.
2,000
Yeah.
kittens.
So I would like to start somewhere, and thank you to Dan and Donna for initiating that initial fund, and I'm sure they're listening, so now they're on the hook. But I think we need to start somewhere, and just say we can spend taxpayer dollars on that right now, unless we pull something magical, I think it's gonna be hard to prove.
Right.
And then you're gonna end up with all kinds of, I'm sure, when somebody proves it's their cat, we've taken care of something, we're gonna run into that struggle too. So, I would like to start off small, see what we can grow it to, and maybe something will come out, Alex, so maybe catch wind of something or come across something that can help us move forward a little bit heavier.
Sitting on the, kind of on the seat, but, you know, like I indicated before, you catch somebody's cat or catch a cat and you just take it up and have it neutered, and the homeowner says, I didn't want that. I mean, is there any flying over in there?
Have to look into that one.
I was to say, isn't there a state thing? If they don't have a tag and stuff on it has an address
I talked
name,
to the humane shelter and I talked to vets.
they're free range at that
And
point.
when I looked at the online state legalities of it, I mean, how much Google will tell me that.
You wanna look at that?
Okay.
Okay.
You know, I got a quick question. And I don't know how it ever gets out of control, we all know, but your dog is outside your house, it's supposed to be contained.
Mhm.
Why do we allow cats to run? I don't, you know, I personally, like at my house, we, even up here on Rose Lane and in that housing development, all of a sudden we've got cats running around. I don't
think that they're allowing it. I just think that some people, and I've had this problem before, they're feeding them and taking care of them. And then when you approach them about them, in my opinion, if you're feeding them, they're your cats.
Right,
You know, but they're saying,
and
"They're my cats."
yeah, whether they're spayed or neutered would help, but yet, I don't let the neighbor's dog jump and sleep on the hood of my truck that's parked outside.
Yeah.
But yet the cats, to me, the answer, it'd be hard to start, but we're gonna have to start diminishing the population, say, if you've got a cat, you keep it on your property, period.
Well, it's
And
supposed
our
to be that
ordinance
way.
states that, Lonnie.
Does it?
It
Yeah.
says that you have to keep your pet on your property, but we all know it's a
Yeah.
little hard to keep a kitty cat.
And then how many people say,
contained.
well, that's not.
Yeah, I was
my cat.
gonna say, how do you
Well, at
prove
that
it was
point,
there?
they'll have
If
some
it's not
charges
their
for it.
cat,
Right.
then why can't it be
Lonnie, you
confiscated?
did not want to say that on
If
that.
it's not their cat, they don't
We were
know.
doing that, and then one lady.
I mean, I like cats as far as, you know, if I go to somebody's house, they got one, I
Yeah.
like them. But like you said, when you don't know whose they are, where they go, that's when they become.
And mostly
annoying.
feral cats are not friendly anyways, they will not.
And then you run into the problem of being honest, if you catch a cat, what are you gonna do with it? Because nobody's taking it.
What happens to us is they bring them to the country and dump them. And then
Going
we
out the door, past our
You
down the
too,
road.
huh?
What's your address again? What's your address again?
We had a little kitten that showed up and had road rash on its nose, they just had thrown it out.
What's your address, Third Jane?
That's okay.
Do you have anything else, Charlie?
As someone pointed out on the upside, we don't have a squirrel overpopulation, so.
We have rabbits.
Yes, please
I'll
reach
get,
out.
I'll get back with you, Charlie, with the emails and those things also, okay?
And I give you credit for caring.
Yeah, they're spraying on my front door.
And it's bad. Yeah.
So moving on, is there any other patron comments?
I have one. You know, I'm a stickler for weeds downtown Bourbon area. And in fact, I was up here last Thursday night pulling weeds at the EMT building at the flagpole again. I was pulled weeds down at the stoplight at the electronical sign. There was weeds all over there. I pulled them all up. I missed a couple because it was pitch dark out, but I wanted it to look nice for the Summerfest. My thing is there any way that when the town is having some sidewalks put in, or when there's some paving done, that they could at least do the flagpole at the EMT building and get rid of them stones where the weeds are coming up, and either put cement in there or pave it, and then we wouldn't have to worry about the weeds there.
We can look at it, if you wanna look at that, Roger.
Yeah, we can see it.
Not bad idea.
That's all I have.
I'm gonna reach out and thank the young adults for coming and being involved. I think it's important for the community, for you guys to be involved. You're the next generation, so I encourage you to keep coming. Any other comments?
Anybody else have anything else to say?
Going once?
All those in favor? I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, Councilman, comment?
Oh, well,
Oh.
I do that too, yeah, I don't.
Are we done with the fence?
Not yet.
Think of that. You guys, if you haven't spent time down there with the, and I'm assuming that we're gonna send pictures, maybe look at an open house for the water plant, but it's looking very, very nice and coming together very well.
Did Chad talk to you about placing one fire truck in the garage?
He did speak that, sorry, I completely, we talked about it.
Which I was in favor of as well.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too, but we need to get an awning out of there first.
Is that your awning?
My.
Why is the fire truck sitting out here for all summer long? What's-
That was the one that we've been waiting on, the township has invested into. They finally got it back and then the pump seals are out of it and they're waiting on pumps. And then to get that one in, they gotta get the brush truck out, so he's looking to put the brush truck in the garage next door here, so you can get that one back in the bay.
One of the things that we're running into is like, since we got the new fire truck, they're getting bigger and there's not much room in there, so that's an issue.
So that one really isn't even in
So-
service yet.
It's not. We're supposed to be getting the parts here, this week. And then they're supposed to be putting the graphics on it. So once it goes through its pump testing, then it can be utilized. The old one will be gone.
Garbage?
The old garbage truck that we call it. And then, that they just don't have the room at the moment, so.
I do wanna say, if we do realize it, you know, we all need to visit the school, the parking issue.
Yeah.
I think if we think it's a concern, we need to get together for a special meeting and get that moving forward so that we can order.
I agree with him. It is a nightmare.
And I feel it is too, I guess I kinda wanna reach out to Jeremy to understand why he doesn't want it both times, or why he wouldn't think that would be the way to go.
You wanna make a motion?
Now I'll make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Again, thanks for everyone for coming and their kindness.